Well, the question we're asking today is there a court for Gaza? And what I'll be talking about is PCHR's experiences within the Israeli domestic system. We've worked within the legal system in Israel for approximately the last 17 years as PCHR, but obviously because of Operation Cast Lead and the huge number of cases, we've a very, very intense experience over the last number of years. And that's been my job for the last 3 years or so. Our conclusion, and it's the conclusion that's been supported by the UN Committee of Experts, is that the Israeli system is ineffective, that it's inadequate, there's a lack of independence and of impartiality, and that really, if you look at the results today, the experiences that we have had prove this. In order to, I suppose I'll start with what I'll finish with during the talk, and say that after Operation Cast Lead, we submitted 490 criminal complaints to the Israeli authorities. The complaints were on behalf of just over 1,000 victims, and they were some of the most serious cases from the war. There are the Samuni case, the Adaya case, the case of Fachura School. The cases that gripped the public, I guess, are the imagination. Of the 490 cases, we've only received 21 responses. So that means that 3.5 years later, 469 of 490 cases simply haven't been answered. Of the other 21, 19 of the responses have been interlocutory responses, which is where they acknowledge the receipt of the complaint, but we get no further information. One case has been closed because the witness refused to travel to Rez Crossing to be interviewed by the military police, and the other case has resulted in a conviction, the only conviction actually post-Cast Lead, which is to do with the theft of a credit card. So really, if you think of it, we've had one case that's gone all the way through court. It's to do with the case of a credit card. 469 cases just haven't been answered. And actually last week, or probably 3 weeks ago now, we got a response from the Israeli Military Advocate General in relation to the Samuni case, and where they closed the case. Again, we filed a complaint on behalf of 62 people. We got a 5-paragraph response essentially saying that nothing had been done. That no crimes had been committed and the case was being closed. In terms of issues within the system, and I'll try and be very, very brief, there are 3 principal problems within the Israeli system that we've identified, and again, these are supported by the UN Committee of Experts. The first relates to the role of the Military Advocate General. Essentially, the Military Advocate General is the legal advisor to the Israeli Armed Forces, and he's also the person who's responsible for enforcing the rule of law within the military. So at every stage of the complaint procedure, it's the MAG, the Military Advocate General, who makes the decision. The problem is that the Military Advocate General is obviously a part of the Israeli chain of command and of the military hierarchy, and that in a lot of the cases that we're talking about, the Military Advocate General is implicated in the crime. So for example, the decision to use flechette cells in urban areas, to use white phosphorus, the decision to target members of the civilian police, these are all cases which involve the responsibility of the Military Advocate General. So effectively, within the system, you're asking the MAG to assess the legality of something that they've already decided was legal. Clearly, not a lot is going to happen as a consequence of that. The other issue, and it's a fundamentally important issue as well, is that in the event that the MAG does open an investigation, it takes either the form of an operational debriefing or a military police investigation. Now, there haven't been an awful lot of these open. There's been approximately 150 in total, so 100 operational debriefings and 50 military police investigations. So even from the number of cases we submitted, so 490, it's only a fraction. The problem with the operational debriefings is that, according to the Israeli military justice law, they're designed to evaluate the performance of the Israeli armed forces. So it's a lessons learned exercise. And because of that, there's issues to do with anonymity. Only members of the Israeli forces are interviewed. None of the material can be used in court. There's no cross-examination of the facts, and the investigations are typically conducted within the chain of command. So that raises issues to do with independence and so on. The problem with those is that they're being used in lieu of a criminal investigation. So the Israelis claim that this fulfills their obligation to investigate, but clearly in most of these cases, the outcomes are preordained. And again, you see it by the results. You know, we've had three indictments of the whole process, one for the theft of a credit card and then the 2 human shield cases. You know, 3 out of even 150 that were opened, never mind the over 1,000 civilians that were killed. It's clearly a very, very small number. Then the last issue is to do with the High Court of Justice, and it's the civilian supervision of the military. So in Israeli law, the High Court of Justice supervises the decisions of the Military Advocate General. So in law, you have the possibility that if the MAG makes a bad decision, which we believe he has on a number of cases, that can be reviewed by the High Court. The problem is that in practice, the High Court of Justice has created this margin of appreciation. So it means that decisions that are based on the evidence, an assessment of the facts and the evidence, which by definition any decision to open an investigation is held to be within the sphere of competence of the Military Advocate General, and the High Court won't intervene. So they've actually said that in no cases have we ever intervened in this decision. So while it exists in law, in fact it doesn't exist. And those are the three big issues I suppose we'll talk about tonight, and the reason why 3.5 years after application Gaslight there has been no justice within Israeli courts.